Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
Missouri in moral crisis.
All silence is violence. White silence is violence. White silence is
Disruption is a critical piece of protest. You can't grasp people's attention to let them know that you're here to affect change unless you inconvenience them or make them uncomfortable somehow, some way.
Nobody gets through.
Trying to prove I'm not insane. I know I'm still here, but my soul.
I don't think you can have activism on the street without the advocacy portion behind closed doors. Bridging that gap between regular civilians and then the people that could help do something about it.
I think we all respect one another because we all see that we each have a passion that we're willing to fight for it.
There is growing outrage tonight after an unarmed African-American teenager was shot and killed by police in the St. Louis suburb of Ferguson, Missouri. But there are conflicting reports about what led up to the shooting.
I am Mike Brown! I am Mike Brown!
Hands up!
Don't shoot!
Hands up!
Don't shoot!
Hands up!
Don't shoot!
No justice!
No peace!
The internship is a way for young leaders to develop their skills of research and creating a position and attempting to have an impact by expressing that position in government, in policy. They're testifying, they're writing opinion pieces, using education as an important part of what could change the balance in our community and allow young people to live and live productively. Nothing about me without me. I'd like you to think about and write down one or two policies that have affected you. The mission of the Scholarship Foundation of St. Louis is democracy requires an educated citizenry. All citizens should have access to education regardless of their economic circumstance. While you're working in this internship, you are going to have opportunity to be exposed to public officials.
It's researching current post-secondary education issues in Missouri with an end date of June 1st, 2015 on the contract.
All right, everybody, say posy.
Policy.
I found myself protesting day after day after day. Nothing else mattered to me aside from my daughter and protesting. As I kept going out, I kept running into some of the same people. We saw a need and we had to make a space for it. So that's when we formed an organization, what is now called Millennial Activists United, or MAU, and people just began paying attention. When I'm out there on the streets, it's not as an intern or a scholarship recipient from the Scholarship Foundation.
I'm out here because every 28 hours, a Black life is lost. That affects me, that affects my entire family, that affects my people, my community.
Let's not limit this to Ferguson and what happened here. Let's use this opportunity to say, stop killing us in California. Stop killing us in New York. Stop killing us in Ohio. Just stop.
They never get to fulfill their dreams. They never get to live to their full potential. 12 years old, gunned down. 18 years old, gunned down. We say not one more. Not one more. Not one more. Not one more.
Just making it a national issue.
Tonight's action was beautiful. This is community coming out. When you get here, we not no rioting thugs. I was in nursing school. I was supposed to graduate in May. I was working. I had to drop out of school, and I lost my job to do this work. It's that important.
What's going on in Ferguson, I think, has impacted everyone in the city, whether they acknowledge it or not. I think at the height of it back in August, the air was so thick with tension in the St. Louis area. It was insane.
We're missing that whole part of the conversation. What has brought us to this point? And then when people spoke up, specifically if it was an African American, it came off as angry.
When did it become not political or not correct to express a true emotion?
Mm-hmm. I didn't quite understand the anger behind it or the frustration necessarily, but now I do, because it's not just what just happened now, but what has happened before that led us to this point. If you haven't been affected in certain ways by the system, you won't see it. And I know some people will never get it, but at least try to listen. But as soon as they feel any kind of emotion or any kind of energy from you when you speak up, they shut down. Yeah. So what's kind of the point of speaking up if you won't listen?
How could you not feel strongly?
The neighborhood I grew up in, the school I attended, by and large, if you look historically, was beyond my control and beyond the control of my parents, my grandparents. So you have to look at structural inequality in their regards. I grew up in the Normandy area. Specifically, I grew up in a city called Northwoods, and adolescence is a critical time in human development where you're trying to establish your identity and find your way in the world. I was inquiring more about who do I have to watch out for and what neighborhood am I into it with. I had to really discuss that as opposed to what class should I be taking or what teacher is the best teacher. It's no different here in terms of crime, violence, gang, whether you're in Camden, New Jersey, Bronx, New York, Compton, California, or Pine Line, Missouri.
Man, I had to wear fucking girl shoes. You know what I'm saying? Same clothes every day. One really going to school. No electric, no light. We eating pot of milk. Still, we going to church. I'm thinking the church was a restaurant.
We all experience, to some degree, the same level of negative life chances. When I talk to my white classmate about how many of your friends been murdered by the police, they'll say 0. I talk to somebody who has a similar experience as mine, primarily African American. They say I have 3, or I have 4, I have 2. Why is my experience qualitatively different than yours? I have a friend, Kyle, Mike Brown Jr. I have a friend, Arthur. Just lost another friend, Chris Jones, all murdered by police.
I just don't want to be here no more. I don't even have no plan on where I'm gonna go. But I know my transition gotta be better than this.
I really have a heart and a passion for young people. And so when I see young people hurting, when I see young people asking questions, when I see them frustrated, I really wear my social worker hat and try to just offer words of encouragement and be a voice of reason.
At the second meeting I didn't attend, I had been up all night protesting. I don't think I got home until like 3 o'clock that morning. But then it was also one of those days where I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do all of this. This morning she was like, why do you have to talk to these people? And I'm like, well, you know, I have to talk about Ferguson. Mom, it's all white people at this church. And I'm like, yeah, it's a different church, baby. Anytime she's ever gone to church, it's been a Black Baptist church, so it's completely different.
Our city has become in turmoil.
I'm much more comfortable when I'm in front of a line of riot cops versus an all-white church. Conversations around race and the unjust treatment of Black and brown people are uncomfortable, but I encourage you to find comfort in that discomfort, that if you are not a part of the solution, then you are indeed a part of the problem. And it is our duty to get each other free. Thank you.
A lot of them got up and shook my hand and they said, "Thank you for all that you're doing. Thank you for all that you're doing," over and over and over again. And then this one guy, he walked up to me and he said,
"What does the Black community do with the gang Black on Black killing that's going on all the time?"
I knew that somebody was gonna ask that question, as if Black on Black crime is not just crime, as if Black on Black crime excuses people in positions of authority from killing unarmed Black people.
The police, who I pay their salaries, who I pay for their vehicles, their guns, they're obligated to protect me, not to kill me. A cop killing a teenager is not the same as a teenager killing another teenager. Black on Black crime is a problem. It's real. 2 of my uncles were murdered September 5th of this year. So don't tell me about Black on Black crime because I know it exists.
I'm not saying that it's not important, because it is, but you have to work from the inside out on this issue. It becomes less of this Black on Black crime issue and more of this systematic issue.
You're saying they're two different issues.
They are two
Right.
completely
There's two
different issues.
solutions.
Two different solutions. Crime comes from a place of poverty, which comes from a place of, having needs that need to be met just like everybody else. And if the only community you're surrounded by is people that look like you're gonna cause harm and damage people around you that look just like you.
The majority of white crimes are committed on white people or committed by other white people, but you don't hear the word white on white crime being thrown around. If you want to talk about Black on Black crime, let's talk about how the crabs got in the barrel.
Missouri, the show me state. There's a common notion that Missourians are unwilling to accept truth without an exhausting amount of evidence.
For many, when the now international Ferguson uprising happened, the historical relationship this city has with race and wealth came into question, specifically with the city's second largest racial group, African Americans.
Let's start right at the beginning, near the Mason-Dixon line, with slavery. You can't get much more disconnected from wealth than asset seizure and long-term indenture of an entire people. The 1820 decision, commonly known as the Missouri Compromise, clarified that Missouri would be a slave state, while surrounding states would remain free.
In 1857, the famous Dred Scott slave trial that began in the St. Louis courthouse ended with the Supreme Court Chief Justice saying African Americans were not American citizens, whether slave or free, and were only 3/5 of a human being and were regarded as inferior beings, unfit to associate with the white race.
6 years later, in 1863, the Emancipation Proclamation changed the legal status of 3 million enslaved people in the South from slave to free.
As American cities became integrated, school segregation was protected in 1896 by Plessy versus Ferguson, what we all know as the decision to keep schools, quote, separate but equal.
So there's the Industrial Revolution, early part of the 20th century. Many poor blacks living in the South perceive economic opportunity in the North, in cities such as Pittsburgh, St. Louis, Detroit, in manufacturing. My Uncle Charles is the first in my family from Mississippi to move north in search of these opportunities. Millions of other blacks would eventually move north as well, which would become known as the Great Migration.
Fast forward to one of my heroes, Herman Dreer, and a collection of black St. Louisans in the early 20th century. They pooled their precious resources to make loans for land purchase because policies and practices of our banking institutions shut out black families.
We also have this history that overlays that of 100 years of restrictive covenants. African Americans who came into the St. Louis area across the Mississippi were kept out of certain neighborhoods by people in the neighborhood making agreement with one another that they wouldn't sell their houses to African Americans.
The biggest indicator for wealth attainment for an American is home ownership status and how long they've owned their home. So it's quite easy to see the devastating effect these housing policies have on black families.
You have historically black communities in the city that were destroyed for the sake of urban renewal highway construction. These policies lead to what has been labeled the Del Mar Divide, with 95% north of Del Mar Boulevard and St. Louis City being black, with 2/3 white population south of Del Mar Boulevard.
1954, Brown versus the Board of Education led to school integration and the subsequent white flight from the city centers.
In 1956, the loss of property tax base in the city, which funds local and public schools, and the loss of generational wealth led to poverty. The famous housing complex Pruitt-Igoe was completed, only to be demolished in 2 decades.
There's deindustrialization, resulting in the decline of manufacturing industries in most major northern cities. This decline in industry is followed by a decline in infrastructure that disproportionately affects black communities and ushers in a low-skill, low-wage service economy, fast food.
That leaves only a few generations separated from legalized segregation. The expectation of the system that in 50 years you are going to correct 250 years of slavery and 100 years of Jim Crow was probably not realistic.
If you make a transparent map of historical racial segregation and lay it over other maps, political power, cultural influence, health, wealth, education, and employment, a pattern repeats.
Though St. Louis was the only major city not to have a race riot in the 1960s, the community leaped onto the international stage when Michael Brown was shot in Ferguson on August 9, 2014.
So if we look at what's happening in the region in and around the now international Ferguson movement, we see unaccredited school districts, individuals graduating high school without opportunity to continue their education or being taken advantage of by institutions who are going to put them in debt and not render them educated or employable. We see like layers of systemic inequality, and education, to me, is a solution. It's not just a system, it's actually a solution to changing that overlay of inequality. But we haven't gotten there yet. Your wealth will determine whether you have access to early childhood education, whether you have access to quality accredited elementary schools, whether you will graduate from a high school that prepares students to compete on college admissions exams, and whether, in fact, you'll be prepared to perform at a college level.
At Pattonville, predominantly white institution, I was getting something a lot more meaningful. I knew it at 17. McClure South Berkeley's in Ferguson. When I transferred there from Pattonville, it was a drastic difference in the curriculum. It just wasn't challenging. I used to fly through my work, and my teachers would just praise me and being like really smart. In my head, I'm like, this is not work. Basic science, basic math, it's not challenging. The kids graduate and can't keep up to par when they get into college.
I've heard college say we don't have enough black applicants or there just aren't enough qualified black students. Why is that? What are you doing to help the public education system in your area? Otherwise, you're telling me that black students just don't have the capacity.
All public schools, no matter where they're at, they should be the same.
If you're failing someone in education, you're sort of failing them in life.
Right after high school, I came here, Florissant Valley Community College. The first year, I think I had decent grades. Still not applying myself, though. B's and C's. And so I took some time off from school and got an opportunity to work, had a decent paying job, and was able to really have my basic needs provided for. But I knew, that I wanted to do something with education, but I wasn't sure. remember standing in my kitchen in my great aunt's house. Something hit me and said, you've experienced all of these negative life outcomes, and you're still here. You have your health, you have your strength, you have your mental faculty, you don't have any felonies. You can do anything you want to do. I then come back the next semester. The professor jumps to Plato's allegory of the cave. What these prisoners see is poor representations of the real thing. If all you're doing is just getting up in the morning and just aimlessly wandering through life and just conforming to the standards, being a product of your environment, you'll never have a true knowledge of self, potential, and what you can do to make a difference.
There are two issues in the state of Missouri we're working on this year. One is the state offers a very limited and underfunded need-based scholarship called Access Missouri.
They're not going to be able to get that 30 on an ACT because they haven't been prepared for that at any point in their K through 12 education.
I'm not strictly against merit-based aid, but I think that it puts people who already went to the good schools and got, their parents could afford for ACT classes or for private tutors. It just gives them more money that they don't need, whereas need-based gives it to people who really, really need it. I'm the oldest child. My siblings definitely, they drive me 100%. They look to me. I'm the first person in my family to go to college, period, undergrad, and definitely master's. And so now my little brother, who is 19, he lives with me. I always talk to him, education is key. Education is key, especially for a Black male. Like, you don't have a choice.
So there's a whole host of benefits associated with helping this low-income first-generation student persist and graduate. It doesn't just benefit the individual, it benefits society as well. More tax revenue at the federal, state, and even at the local level for a higher income earner. They're going to be more civically engaged and more willing to give back and make a difference in their community.
The second issue that we're working on elicits very emotional response from people, and especially hard for some of our interns who know that experience either personally or through family members.
This is something different. Like, this is something that I went out and did research for it because I care about it, not because someone said, you have a research project. I just want to make sure I have all my facts. Numbers speak. And according to the Brookings Metropolitan Policy Program, nearly 75% of undocumented students have lived in the U.S. for 10 years, and 1/3 of them arrived when they were 5 years old or younger.
President has issued an executive order that allows children who were brought here in their early years freedom from deportation in order to pursue education or employment.
Called DACA. So it's a deferred action for childhood arrivals, strictly applied to those students who arrived to this country before 15. If you want to apply, you have to pay $465. There is a fee. We are not granting them citizenship. We are not saying you can live here for the rest of your life legally. The only thing it is doing is granting you to live free from deportation for 2 years. So when your 2 years are up, you have to reapply.
And schools are charging them international rates, which is so much more expensive than just out-of-state tuition or in-state tuition.
This is driven solely by these legislators that, for whatever reason, want to expend resources on what could be a small pool as 1,000 students, and that's what we have 12 or 13 bills pending on.
They can't receive federal financial aid through FAFSA, things like that, so they can't afford it. It's very sad to see these students and how much they can offer, and then see these things like these bills pass, just knock them down.
What will happen when President Obama, his term ends and the next president comes in? Will this stay in place or will it be removed by the next president? Or if you guys are wondering, but I'm not undocumented. I am actually a citizen. I was born in St. Mary's Hospital right across the street. I told them that I'm a citizen. Because they're probably thinking like, dang, is she illegal or what? I'm at the airport to pick up my grandma, so this is her second time she'll be here. She is from Mexico, and recently in the summertime, she got her residency, so this is her second time being here. ¿Por qué está su papel? ¿Lleva su teléfono? In the summertime, they granted her residency, so she's an American resident now, so she can come back and forth as she pleases to visit all her grandchildren. she's so little. Hola, abuelita. Todo. Eres Her two daughters are actually citizens of America now. So this recently just happened. My aunt just became an American citizen in 2012, and my mom just became a citizen in this past summer in August. She's like, I'm ready, mija. I'm ready for the cold. We're like, no, you're not. No, you're not. My mother, she was considered to be undocumented for about 20 years. My aunt, maybe about 10, so it was a lot shorter for her, but they were undocumented. They lived in the shadows in a sense. So coming to airports or even being stopped or you seeing a security guard or seeing a police officer, it was nerve-wracking because you never know if your paths will cross, and then you can be in jeopardy of deportation at any moment. I've heard plenty of arguments. Well, if they broke the law, they can break it again, or why did you come here illegally? Go back to your country. Well, I think what people don't understand is that they are willing to sacrifice their life to come here to simply work, to provide a better life for their family and for themselves.
If it weren't for the bravery of my Aunt Bertha and Vicky, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Karina wouldn't be here. Any of us would have been here.
With my mom, she floated on a tire across the Rio Grande. She had no family, didn't know any English, didn't have any money. I was always taught that education is key. I bring up the subject of student loans, and she's like, mija, but your education, that's something no one can take away from you. No one. I was the first to graduate from high school, the first to go to college, and in May I'll be the first to graduate from college. In our culture, our extended family is immediate family. Like, we all hang out. We don't say extended family. You know, we just all hang out.
We all have to put ourselves enough in other folks' space and be in a place that is different from our normal social location for extended periods of time to be able to learn. What we don't do is engage in long-term relationship with people of other culture and experience an exemption of our own privilege. We don't pull out of our privilege long enough. I say that for people who deal and operate from a point of white privilege to people who deal and operate from a position of male privilege, people who deal and operate from a position of heterosexual privilege. Like, these things are intersectional, they're all connected. But if you really want to talk about getting at the challenges of race and racism, social inversion by racial groups would be the thing that would be required for people to understand and really make a difference as it relates to racism.
My dad made this comment. He said, just because you're doing this work, don't forget where you come from. It's so sad for me to see these students whose parents made a choice to move once they were already born. So the difference between me and that student is just 1 year apart. I can go to school and have grants and all these things, and you just can't. I never thought of myself as privileged until looking into this work. Oh my gosh.
When did I become the privileged? I mean, that sounds like something you hadn't thought about.
I never did.
What you're feeling now, I felt when we first started this. I just broke down. I never saw myself as privileged. I was like, still have to fight the system and all that. What do you mean I'm privileged? And I am, just because of that, just because that I was born on this side of the border.
I know I can be doing more, but I just don't know exactly what my role is yet, so I'm kind of trying to figure that out.
What Amber said, I really don't know exactly where I fit in.
Me and
two other students from my program. We were just like sitting down one day and we're like, we need to have a protest.
All right, y'all ready to go?
Yeah.
All right. Yes. Hands up.
Don't shoot.
Hands up.
Don't shoot.
Mike from me.
We got to fight back.
Mike from me.
We got to fight back.
Samira Rice.
What's the other name? No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace.
It's a very different experience actually being here and being a part of this and being engrossed in it because you gain that energy and that resolve. It's much more personal than just watching it on television.
Moving, Jeffrey better move. Better move. Better run, and Jeffrey better run. Better run. Better hide, and Jeffrey better hide. Better hide.
We'll be here all day and night.
If you don't leave that, we won't fight.
We'll be here all day and night.
To be quite honest, I saw a lot of white people's faces giving us stale faces. People can say it either means they don't care about blacks or they don't care that we're interrupting whatever it is that they're doing, meaning basically they don't want to care about the situation. It's a temporary interruption. Even if they don't agree with the chant per se, if you still agree with the overall cause, you can overlook one little 10% that you don't agree with. I don't necessarily agree with everything that's been going on. However, I agree with the overall cause. So I'm here.
We're going to wait here for 4.5 minutes. We just want everybody to know this is an avoidable situation. This does not have to happen. A moment of silence for Michael Brown. Let's do 6 big I Can't Breathe. To represent the 6 I Can't Breathe, the Eric Gardner. I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
There's always going to be those people that just don't get it at all. For every one of those people, I feel like there are 10 other people that are going to look at this and actually think these people are out here for a reason. Like, people don't continue to do this just for one case.
I got my kids, I got the neighbors' kids. And this little one said, what's so cool about protests? I said, because they're asking for justice, and justice is cool.
I can hear my brother saying, I can't breathe. Now I'm in the struggle like I can't leave.
Before we hopefully make some phone calls, I wanted to try and assess what luck you've had, what have been your barriers, so that we have a better understanding of why we haven't had more luck getting visits scheduled. So.
It was like there was no energy in the room. If people are gonna get together in a room, I want to figure out a way that there's a reason that they're there.
Has anybody tried and had reasons for not having success?
It always rings and then it goes into a voicemail and then it begins to say it's unavailable.
Left voicemails, but no answer, no return.
Energy stayed low, like, oh, no one's returning my phone call. And I said, okay, that's not gonna work. So how about this? First, let's figure out what hashtag we'll use to define this program.
Go over there. I'm serious. This will get their attention.
I don't see politicians really engaged in the community. You represent me, but there's no dialogue. There's a disconnect. When you have politicians or leaders go down there, the people, to some extent, don't respect them or don't accept them. It's like, where you been? Who are you? I've never seen you. John Dewey says that the man who wears the shoe knows where it pinches. But if you can't put yourself in my shoes, or if you refuse to put yourself in my shoes, how can you advocate for me? How can you represent me?
Policy is not very sexy. So what is it about you that would matter, about this work that would matter?
That we're using our voice and then, we're here to stir things up because we see inequalities.
I'm sort of sick of people talking about giving youth, this is me, giving youth voice. You have voice. It's engagement and opportunity and action. It's not really, oh, yeah, thanks. That was your voice. Now go back where you came from. They were talking about advocacy, but that sounds so sterile. And then we're not protesters. We're not Brittany on the street, but we're active and we are engaged. Active advocacy.
I like that. Call me back now, damn it.
I started tweeting the legislators who they were trying to meet with.
Maria Chappelle Nadal. That's cute and an innovative way to get my attention. Would you like to meet for coffee in an hour? Who can go?
If you use education as a vehicle to get you out of the cycle of poverty, and then it turns around and puts you in $80,000, $90,000 worth of student debt, it actually creates the thing that it is supposed to get rid of. Hello.
Have I seen y'all two before?
I'm active in the community.
And they graduated 4 years because they know
That really superseded my expectations. You know, I expected a pretty stale conversation, but you really not only listen, but offer great wisdom and guidance about, let me give you some insights on how you can really maximize your time and some tips of the trade.
For me particularly, I do receive the Missouri Access Scholarship. $1,500 may not seem a lot to some students, but to me, it is that last and final cost that's covered that my family, who already struggles, doesn't have to worry about putting in.
What's the number one argument one could use for a need over merit-based award?
Main merit-based program here is Brightfly. The whole point of it is to keep the best and brightest in Missouri. Research hasn't shown that it's done that.
And on the back, you'll find our second issue that we are raising advocacy for is the undocumented students and their in-state tuition rates.
The Republican colleague, he already filed, he pre-filed.
187.
Fitzpatrick. Yeah. I look at who signed on to his bill last year. I'm not sure what advocacy prevented it from becoming a bill last year, but something happened to prevent that.
What I have to talk about would be increase in our need-based grant Access Missouri, and then the A+ eligibility for a DACA student.
Do they get charged in-state tuition rate?
Currently, they do not.
This is going to be a hot topic, only because so many of my colleagues are from the Republican Party and they're furious with the president right now. Now we're going to expand another program with a population of individuals that the right wing is furious with. I'm expecting a fight about this.
Yeah. So what about on the need-based aid? How can we move that?
Quite frankly, as tragic as it is, the situation in Ferguson's on your side. From when everybody's watching on TV, we see a lot of protests, but we don't see anybody asking for anything.
Right. So educational opportunity is one among many opportunities to fix the underlying
Right. It's going to take a generation to fix.
Right. I'm okay with that. Let's just get started.
Yeah. You don't ever get to the end until you take the first step.
We're not putting our money where our mouth is, for sure, especially when it comes in terms of our low-income and minority students. The awards are small. There's not enough of them for the amount of students we have that need them, but the ones who get them hold on to them for dear life. Students like myself, they deserve the chance to go to school and to get that degree that they worked damn hard for. And the same could be said for the DACA students. I couldn't imagine what it's like. You know, a lot of students, they don't even find out that they're undocumented until they go, you know, I'm going to college, and then someone tells them, well, actually, no, you know, you're not.
The public comments section.
Some ways the state could do this are consistently increasing funding for Access Missouri, so that not only all eligible students receive an award, but they receive the maximum award, not just the statute minimums, which has been the norm for the last few years.
If the will were there and the funding were there, at least potentially, by this coming fall, we could have additional funds available through that program. Students like these individuals that have a passion for increasing financial aid, for broadening those programs, can make a difference. Some instances it can come fairly quickly, sometimes it can't, but that opportunity is always there.
There are no guarantees that when people are advocates that what you want you're going to get, but you know you're not going to get anything if you don't do anything.
I've been seeing they've been doing a lot of good work. They've been meeting with some representatives and testifying, and I think it's amazing and it's really inspiring. And it's good to see when I'm on the street And I'm in the community doing work. They're in the Capitol doing work. You get to see advocacy from all angles. There have been nights where I've completely broken down. I would stay in the dark the whole night and cry because I feel like so many different emotions. Gosh, like what makes me so crazy? Like why did I sign up to do this work? I feel like it's not something that I did consciously. I just felt compelled to do it. If someone said, I'll give you $1 million to go make a new life in California, I wouldn't want it. I can't turn my back on what I'm doing right now.
We've been on edge for weeks. So when we hear these rumors that the verdict is coming, like...
But she's been grumpy. I have nothing to say.
Hi, Karina.
She's acting up.
Hi. Come on up, Ladybug.
Gathering and getting ready for this over the weekend. And if there is violence,
I can honestly tell you, as a mother, it scares me to death. Knowing that she's out there, knowing that she's so known.
Most legal analysts that I have read and have heard, when you compare Missouri's laws to national law,
I will.
seem to think that police officers, they have heard from presumably hundreds of witnesses.
Love you too.
Forensic will be released to us. That's why
See you later. Love you too. Bye. Love you too. Bye. Sometimes I feel bad because I wish that we weren't going through all of this stuff out here. And this has really cut into a lot of that time. And she doesn't like it, and neither do I. So what I try to do is just talk to her about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And then every bit of time that we do have, like, I try to make the most of it. The days she's with her father, those are the days that I'm really, like, all day long can be dedicated to me doing work. There's a divide in the Black community itself, and a lot of people don't necessarily understand why are these people out there wasting their time protesting. You know, he's one of those people, so, you know, that's what I deal with on a regular basis. The one thing that I really hate is, like, when we are protesting and you have a certain group or certain individuals that start chanting like fuck the police. I hate that. That's so not okay. And it's because like we fight so that these police officers like can see the humanity in us. And then you undo all of that work by chanting fuck the police. You don't want anybody to get a clip of that and then like air only that piece on CNN, right?
The world will be watching us. They're going to watch how we handle our disagreements in the coming days and how we make needed change in the coming months and years.
Indict! Convict! Send that killer cop to jail! The whole damn system! MTV! Fuck the police! MTV! Fuck the police!
We're gonna announce this at night. If we're gonna take 20 minutes to announce it, you could hear a pin drop, and it took about 6-7 minutes. And then people finally started to realize what was happening.
Defend himself from what? From what? What was he defending himself from? Unarmed kid. Tell me that.
Sitting in my family room by the television, and the more prosecuting attorney talked, the more nauseous I got.
They determined that no probable cause exists to file any charge against Officer Wilson and returned a no true bill on each of the 5 indictments.
We're gonna get justice.
Let me preface, I don't know the full extent of the interaction between Mike Brown Jr. and the officer. Shooting someone 4 or 5 times after the initial interaction that was alleged to have happened, it was overboard. People are gonna say officers, yet they have a dangerous job and they have to do everything in their power to get home. I just think that some type of training has got to be implemented. Some type of policies have got to be pursued to make sure
that these instances of police brutality, specifically projected onto the bodies of black males, don't continue in the fashion that they have.
Tear gas is coming. Goggles.
In the street immediately and stop throwing objects. Stop trying to turn over the police vehicle immediately.
We gotta get some vinegar for you.
Watching all the drama of the couple hours after that was heartbreaking, really heartbreaking.
We're guarding AT&T from people that want to break in and just tear stuff up.
Why is y'all stopping to break in? I mean, we ain't stopping, we just standing here. Just say y'all stopping.
They're throwing stuff at the police.
This one right here. This one right here.
Envision these people as Americans who are invested in America. Nobody walks out in the street and eats tear gas if they're not invested in America.
Do we all need to run? Okay, we gotta get our mask out, y'all. Come on, go around the corner, turn the corner. Put your mask on. It's mine.
Open your eyes, it won't hurt. You gotta do that. Come here, come here. I got you. Got you. Put that shit on. Don't shoot! Hands up! Don't shoot! Hands up! Don't shoot! Hands up!
What we're seeing are uprisings that people who felt like they were visitors in their own neighborhoods, felt like they were visitors in their own country, stood up to say, no, this belongs to me. These streets belong to me. That police department belongs to me. These laws, that mayor, that district attorney, that belongs to me.
Show me what democracy looks like! This is what democracy looks like!
Everything in the Capitol is hard granite and marble surface. Everything's gray, everything looks the same, everything's formal, people are dressed in coat and tie. It's a very busy place during session.
With the sound of the gavel, newly elected and returning lawmakers started the 98th General Assembly.
Lawmakers have a choice. Today, we want you to vote for the people that have put you into office. It starts here at ground zero today.
So help me God.
Madam Speaker, this General Assembly will be faced with many difficult challenges in the coming months. But none will be more difficult or more important than addressing the myriad of issues brought to light by Ferguson and its aftermath.
There's a lot of running around trying to find people in their offices or on their way to hearings or on the way to the floor of the Senate or the House, trying to get 30 seconds in the elevator with them or walk and talk with them and get the words out quickly and powerfully before they have to go in to vote. It takes a kind of tough exterior. You have to be pretty resilient.
Some of the most basic equations about advocacy have to do with my story, being able to touch your story and becoming our story. And to be able to connect that to a policymaker. They're not robots either. They find themes of the human experience, and that opens them up to hear about the policy.
They want to cut the funding, or they want them to pay additional funding?
Yeah, so
to go to school?
Yeah, they're doing both.
We did have that before higher education. Of course, as you know, we were outvoted on that piece, but I don't feel that it's fair. If anybody wants an education, we give them the opportunity to go to school.
Right.
I appreciate you ladies.
No, thank
when
you.
When anything come up that you need to know on those bills, let us know. Because I tell people, I can't see y'all, do all, and hear all.
Exactly, and that's why we keep coming back, so.
Can't ignore us.
Yeah.
So we had Black Brunch, and it's basically people dressed in all black. They go into predominantly white spaces, and they protest. What's a little nerve-wracking is not knowing who is here for what. You don't want to just walk up to people and say, hey, are you here to shut stuff down? So as you can see, the security in the park is already high because they were expecting for us to come here. I need a Black person, and I need 2 white folks. We disrupt your brunch to honor the names taken for police violence. One of our Black protesters was getting beat by 2 white protesters dressed as police officers. One white lady walked up to one of our white officers and said,
Follow the law. It doesn't happen.
Let him again.
I mean, they truly show their true colors on what they think about Black people getting brutalized and killed by police officers. You know, it always has to be a reason why we're getting killed when, in fact, there is no reason.
If somebody says stop, it has been shown that the white policeman was doing his job and the young man did not stop. I think it's improper to come in and disrupt this. I really do. I marched with the nuns and the priests 63, 64, and 65. So I'm in the heart of you all. But now you're bringing me to say I'm white and you're Black.
It's against my civil rights.
Dante Parker!
Dante Parker!
John Crawford III! Now I know there's injustices, and I have been working all my life. I'm 70 years old, and I have been working in tutoring in schools, and it's been Blacks. So if you start at home with parents, and you follow the rules, even though it's hard.
Tutoring Black kids is great, but what about the people in the system that they have to confront after you tutor them? I can be an honor roll student, straight A's. I could have very proper English, and I can go into institutionalized spaces and be judged just by my outward appearance. I could be seen as a threat. Tamir Rice was seen as a threat. He could have been tutored. We don't know.
I respect what they're doing. I respect the protest. I have many friends on their side, and I have many friends on the police side of the law. But going to the actions that you're doing, coming into all these restaurants, all these businesses, disrupting businesses, upsetting people, fake beatings, fake shootings in front of children, that is not what's going to get you guys seen in a better light. You need to figure something else out. I understand where you're coming from. This is a big battle going on in the United States right now. St. Louis is just the figurehead.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
Hands up, don't shoot. Stop that shit, we bulletproof. Hands up, don't shoot. Stop that shit, we bulletproof.
No one cares about anything until they're white tears. Then that's when everybody wants to say, oh my God, this is the wrong way to do it. You had me, but now you just lost me. Did we lose you because you're uncomfortable? Did we lose you because we disturbed your peace for all of 20 minutes? Think about how we felt driving to South County. Think about how we felt knowing that we might get pulled over because it's 4 Black people in the car and they might just want to check us for warrants. The DOJ report already came out in Ferguson saying that they profile Black people. It's not just the isolated incident to Ferguson, it's all over this city.
They are calling the police.
Well, maybe they're gonna get shot. Yeah, they might shoot them here. Let them put their hands up.
Black lives matter. Black lives matter. Black lives matter. Black lives matter.
That's not how it's going to get done. The public is not going to get behind you with that. And I, for one, have lost respect for this group now.
If people would have, yes, Black Lives Matter, we agree. Not when you see the black person getting beat by 2 officers, you say, hit him again. Until, as a white person, you start holding other white people accountable and you start checking them on their privilege. That's support.
I thought it was really powerful, and I was a little bit disgusted with some of the reactions I saw from some of the people who seem to be pretty upset about their brunches being disturbed.
Certain races have it easier than other races, and maybe this wasn't done the best way, but you can't run from it. You gotta deal with it.
They'll knock you off your game. I spend most of my life trying to prove I'm not insane. I know I'm still here, but my soul is almost gone. Yeah, it's almost gone. I need to free my mind. Been in chains for way too long. And I know that I ain't crazy. And it's not just in my mind. Cause when I look around,
average life expectancy in one black suburb was more than 30 years less than in a mostly white suburb nearby. So do you think that any of these come as a surprise to St. Louis residents?
gratitude, I can't come back. You know how to get.
We're heading to Jefferson City tonight, so we can be up bright and early tomorrow morning. And we have a whole day full of meetings planned. So the timing's great. The whole group is going. We'll be able to be there for a hearing on the future of financial aid in the state of Missouri. The interns have got the idea that this is a marathon, not a sprint. How many trips to Jefferson City have you made this year?
This will be my 3rd.
Nice.
Yeah.
Robert?
Second, 4th.
I think each time we go, we just learn a little bit more. Okay, I have a question. So Missouri set this goal for 60% of, adults to have a higher ed education, certificate, whatever. What exactly was their plan for that? If you're wanting more people to go to college, why aren't you offering more aid? Because when they make these goals and shit, they're not thinking about it. Right.
Your question about Access Missouri is about what would it take to fully fund that program at the statutory maximums. But our prediction is it would take about $130 million to fully fund that program, something in that range. What is it we're really trying to accomplish with these programs? What's our target? And then it's much better to be able to say, well, here's how we should tweak the program in order to better accomplish that.
I don't know how you change somebody's core beliefs. When I think about my own core beliefs and like somebody approaching me and trying to get me to take a different stance on that, it would be extremely difficult. If anybody's truly opposed to these issues, I don't know how I'm not going to take that personally.
Currently, Bright Flight is given to the top 3% of ACT scores throughout the state, and I would like to see that restructured so that it's given to the top 3% or top percent at each school district or in each community so that all students have an equal chance of receiving these fundings. Because currently, students in lower income or neighborhoods that are under-resourced are competing with their peers who are going to the best schools, the most high-quality education. And to me, that doesn't equal an equitable opportunity for all.
New experience, but I feel like I got 50,000 access recipients behind me. And so I'm speaking on their behalf and advocating on their behalf. So I'm pumped up. I feel like the big game or something like that. I'm here today to explain why increasing funding for Access Missouri is vital to improving Missouri's workforce and the quality of life of its residents. Recipients have stronger persistence and graduation rates than Missouri students overall. Yet, Missouri continues to underinvest in what works, need-based aid. Investment in Access Missouri peaked in fiscal year 2009 at $92 million and has been declining ever since. All Missourians, despite socioeconomic status, deserve an opportunity to access higher education, obtain a college degree, become economically viable, and contribute to this great state. So I implore you to keep us in mind as you move forward with your plans to address the state's higher education needs. Thank you for your time.
Any questions for this young man who spoke very eloquently, I might add? Okay. I'm not saying I disagree with you. Unfortunately, the budget is the budget, and we only have so much money in the state of Missouri. I wish we could give more money to access. So with that, if there are no further questions in the committee, I call this committee closed.
Start with debriefing our journey. I feel like they were listening, probably because they feel like they had to listen. You're so intelligent, you can speak well, things like that,
You all had a definite reaction to that.
It shows that your expectations of this person initially was lower anyways.
What did you think I was gonna get up here and say? And it pissed me off instantly.
A lot of these politicians get organizations that bring, I guess you can say, needy, under-resourced
In
people.
matching t-shirts.
Yeah, up
Right.
there in front of them who almost has an emotional appeal where that they really may not have that ability, and I feel like she was probably expecting that a little instead of
I
expecting
love
people.
that comment. What we are trying to build in this internship is the opposite of that.
Fitzpatrick, I feel like an immigrant took his girl or something because he's just like hell bent. I feel like it's always some personal history when you have like a target on this group. So I feel like, what happened?
They put, their hand on your shoulder. Oh, that was great. I appreciate it for coming out. We need more students like you. I'm like, come on. Did you actually listen to what I said?
But I think the people who pat us on the back are friends. These people are not friends.
I want to welcome everyone to the Committee on Higher Education, House Bill number 187.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, for hearing House Bill 187. If we fail to pass this bill, we will be allowing another group of people on to these post-secondary education benefits. For instance, homeschool students are not eligible for A+. I don't think that we should be adding people who are in the country illegally to this program.
College has always been my inspiration. It's always been one of my goals. And it's always been my parents' goals. And obviously that's what we came here for a better future, for a better life, a better education.
Do we want to educate them, or do we want them just floating around here, just doing nothing?
It's not additional dollars that we would be saving. At this point, it would be more money that we would have to spend to fund the program. And so we have to pull that from somewhere. The fiscal note of doing nothing is going to be several $million. People are writing, oh man, they're giving us free college. We continue that practice and invite illegal immigration by providing every benefit under the sun to them.
Have heard from a lot of Missouri taxpayers, and they find this bill pretty problematic.
We'll all agree that our federal immigration system and the laws surrounding it are wholly inadequate and need reformed. That's not something that we can fix from here.
Those illegal immigrants that are working here illegally can't pay income taxes, which is the main source of funding for A+ program and things like that. So in theory, they're not contributing to the program that they're trying to use. Are there any other countries where I could go illegally and get a free education? Are you aware of any?
I am not aware of any.
Where I could be an illegal immigrant and go and get a free education?
To the best of my knowledge, those don't exist, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, most of the time in some countries, if I try to get in there illegally, I'd be shot.
I'm pretty aware of the fact that all these congressmen and women want to take my DACA out. And I hope it does not, because I don't think I would be anywhere without it. We are all human beings. We're made in the image and likeness of God.
and we are all equal.
They absolutely are paying taxes. Their parents are paying taxes. If you don't have a social security number, you can pay income tax under what's called an ITIN number, an individual tax ID number.
Do you believe there should be any rules about coming and going in the United States or in the state of Missouri from other countries, or?
No, of course I do, but I think.
What might they be?
So Representative Fitzpatrick and I actually agree on the fact that our federal system is pretty well broken. In particular instance,
You're kind of making these broad generalizations. A person comes in because they're desperate, but they never go back.
We're talking about people oftentimes who are coming from war-torn countries.
That's fine. I just don't follow the logic of the argument, but thank you very much.
You said that we should not be denying people benefits just because we can't afford them. Give them free bubble up and rainbow stew, or what would we do?
In this particular instance, we're talking about people who meet a very specific standard for a federal program that's been created. These students are not eligible for Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security. We're saying that if you are here, you've met all the requirements that your classmates have done, you've worked hard, you've learned English, you've somehow managed to cobble together enough money to start to go to school, that we want you to be an educated person in our workforce, particularly because they're not going to be eligible for any of those other benefits.
And I want to be a nurse now, or an immigration lawyer. I know I want to get far. I have a small jar. Every time I get my paycheck, I take money out and I put it in there. And it is for me to take my citizenship test and make my family citizens or residents.
Policies such as House Bill 187 are confusing our students, our higher education institution, and furthermore, our families. Achieving DACA status is lengthy and a costly step towards citizenship, and they want to contribute back to our home state, but they can't. We like to think that education is a key factor in increasing economic means and should be accessible to those on their way to citizenship. Allowing DACA students the opportunity to continue their education is critical to Missouri's commitment on a diverse, talented, and prosperous community. So let Missouri set out a welcome mat for these students. Thank you.
Your parents are here likewise?
Yes, my mother became a citizen of the United States through naturalization after 23 years of being here. And she paid taxes all 23 years, even when she was considered undocumented.
Does she have a degree in higher education, or has she had any post-secondary education?
She only completed the 6th grade in Mexico. And she has worked 3 jobs my entire life so I can go to school. So she hasn't had the opportunity nor the funds to attain a higher ed degree here in the States.
I applaud your mother.
Thank you.
No other questions of this witness? Do we have another witness?
An ongoing debate in Missouri: should illegal immigrant students be allowed to get college scholarships and other funding from the state? Today, immigrant students delivered more than 650 petitions to the governor.
It's a mistaken policy to say to a student that while you're in high school, if you do all of these hard things, we're going to give you a scholarship, and then to come back later on and say we're going to take it away from you. It's just a matter of fairness. I don't think that's fair.
This morning, I vetoed that.
The governor took action this morning, and the news was met with a standing ovation.
The Missouri House of Representatives gavelled in before a packed House chamber for the annual veto session. Lawmakers successfully voted to overturn 10 of Governor Nixon's vetoes.
Today, we once again continued our historic record of bills vetoed and overridden by the governor, including legislation to ensure that A-plus scholarship dollars are available to Missouri residents.
While lawmakers successfully overturned several of the governor's vetoes.
We had over 60 bills that was related to police misconduct or police reform. None of those bills made it out of the committee. The last speaker that was here said we would not have a Ferguson agenda, and he guaranteed that none of the bills moved out of the committee.
There's plenty of members standing to my left, my right, and behind me that had a lot of different legislative items that would have addressed many of these issues. Some are still waiting to be assigned to committees. It's the last day, and we've got good legislation that's still waiting to be assigned to a committee. That's an embarrassment to our state and blatantly disrespectful to the members and the citizens of this great state. We saw tactics on the floor where there were bills brought up that impacted so-called minority areas, and the representatives from those areas were not allowed to speak, were not recognized. We're all sent up here by our residents. I represent about 38,000 folks. I'm high on the number of constituents I have, but on a few different issues, I was not allowed the opportunity. Neither was Representative Adams with the Normandy School District was not allowed the opportunity for us to speak the words of our constituents. That's what we were sent up here.
That are represented from across the country, from the Oscar Grant family, the Andrew Joseph II family, Von Derek Myers family, and many, many more. I could stand here for hours and give you names of those that have been lost to violence.
I want to make sure that we acknowledge that tomorrow we're doing mass demonstrations all over the country. Every city, start from the highway. We can't get it, shut it down. If we can't get it, shut it down. If we can't get it.
One day I had this genius idea to shut down the airport. I didn't have a lot of support because people were really afraid of getting arrested on federal property, the repercussions that would come, the charges. But, you know, me being me, I was like, well, we're gonna do it anyway.
You wanna see my pass? You wanna see my pass, sir?
There were like rumors of security waiting for us at the airport, and I was like, well, we're on the train now. I don't care if it's security. We're just gonna hold them up too. And the idea was to do a die-in right in front of security so that we can catch people that were leaving the city.
Yeah, we're going to.
Black lives matter. Black lives matter. Black lives matter. Black lives matter. White silent is right. White silent is right. No silent is right. Black lives matter. Black lives matter.
We are here because black people are being shot and killed in the street, and everybody wants to act like it's not about race. It is about race. Black people know when you return home, you came to one of the most racist cities in America.
Then we shut down the entire entryway to security, and people were angry.
If you are inconvenienced, so are we.
If missing your plane inconveniences you, and being late inconveniences you, imagine missing time with your family forever.
And he had to lay on the ground for 4.5 hours while his parents watched him bleed out. What is his name? Mike Brown. What's his name? Mike Brown. What's his name? Mike Brown. Who are we? Mike Brown. Nobody gets through.
It's a teachable moment.
You know, yelling at us, trying to push through us, and we wouldn't let them through because it's about inconvenience. We're inconvenienced every day doing this work. You can be inconvenienced for a moment. You can replace your plane ticket. We can't replace Black lives.
That's how we feel. Black lives matter. That's how we've been feeling.
They were very upset. We engaged in conversation with some folks on the upper level of the airport who were, you know, feeling like we were attacking them because of our presence, because we were talking about race.
Show me what democracy looks like! This is what democracy looks like! We ask that you use your voices to spread the word about what is happening in America. We ask that you encourage people to see the humanity in others and do not see us for our heavily melanated skin. We ask that you stand on the right side of justice. We're messed up. You don't know anything about me.
It's not about knowing you. We just want you to hear us out and to hear why we're here. Some people weren't receptive of it, some people were. I do remember looking up and seeing this lady holding her child in her arms, and she was crying.
My 6-year-old daughter said, Mommy, what if the police shoots and kills me like they did Mike Brown? How am I to answer that? I can't say it will not happen to you.
Every 28 hours.
I can't say you will not be shot and killed by the police because that is not for certain.
Democracy looks like people voicing their views, people listening, and decisions that are made for the greater good, for the common good, rather than for individual good. Democracy can be really messy. It's hard for me to see how little tolerance we have of that as a community. Democracy can be loud, it can be argumentative.
The young people are the only ones who can make a difference, quite frankly. There hasn't been a social movement in American or world history that student activists are at the forefront of. We are still having a conversation about police reform, about accountability, about the value of Black lives in the United States of America and on the globe, quite frankly, because of young people who decided that they were going to raise the issue. They were going to stay out until people responded to their concerns. And so from the visions of young students standing in front of tanks in Tiananmen Square to the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee of the 1960s, I've gotten to the point where I actually tell people they're not young, they're movement aged.
As far as I know, there aren't any other policy type programs where students are actually advocating on behalf of students.
Ultimately, it would be great if the internship resulted in people looking to young people to engage in policy before it's made. We become a part of the fabric rather than an irritant.
I value the process just as much as I value the outcome, especially for me since this is actually what I want to do, go into public policy.
It's my job as an advocate for my people to make sure that I want to speak to them. We elected you and these are our issues and we're going to hold you accountable.
My winning moment would be when DACA students have the opportunity to pay in-state tuition rates here in Missouri. And they should not be at fault or penalized for a decision, a sacrifice that their parents made to come here for opportunity, especially if the only home they know is America. And all they want to do is contribute to our country, but they can't because certain people don't see them as American, when all they felt their entire lives is American.
The late theologian and philosopher Howard Thurman once said, "Don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive, and then go do that. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive."
Each year, Fontbonne recognizes an outstanding graduating senior who's demonstrated loyalty through service to the university as a whole and has the potential to be an outstanding member of the Alumni Association. This year's recipient is Karina Arango. She recently received the President's Award for her outstanding academic performance, co-curricular achievement, and service to the university. She frequently meets with state legislators to advocate for education policy changes concerning accessibility and affordability, and she has published multiple commentaries on reform. And for these reasons and many more, she is the recipient today of the Alumni Hood. Congratulations.
People really love to listen to us. We're the people who these policies affect. I might not be able to make it to college this year if this gets cut. As far as the undocumented students, that affects hundreds, if not thousands of people in Missouri. You're my representative. I'm here. Listen to me.
Our 2015 pre-commencement speaker, Reverend Starsky Wilson.
You are being sent out and people are telling you to prepare to make things just a little bit closer. And I'm suggesting to you that it's not worth your life's work or your education until people in 63105 whose average household income is $90,000 and people who live in 63106 whose average household income is $30,000 can actually earn and have privilege at the same level in society. Your work is not done. Do not seek to reduce to get them close enough to look at each other. Rather seek to remove the disparity.
Graduation is over. I'm officially Carissa Anderson,
Master.
MSW. Master of Social Work. And I can't wait to put what I learned to work.
If I had to do this all over again, I know I would hit the streets of Ferguson again. I have definitely been traumatized by my experiences. I don't know if my role would be the same as it is now, but I know I would feel compelled to do something. I want everyone to know that they have a role to play for the betterment of humanity.
Please stand if you are the first person in your family to earn a 4-year college degree.
We took the police departments to federal court, and we won our case against them so that they could not use chemical weapons against us without proper warning. That was very symbolic and what we're capable of as regular civilians. We can measure progress by accountability, transparency, and compare it to years prior to that to see how the results of people partaking in a democratic process has affected society for the better. Equal housing, job opportunities, quality education, quality food, across the board. It does not matter how much money you make. It does not matter what you look like. That would be progress. But I feel like there's always going to be a need for checks and balances.
I don't know whether St. Louis will be better or worse. I know that we couldn't continue much longer the way we were operating.
I am so proud to present Faith Sandler for an honorary degree from the University of Missouri St. Louis.
Thank you for situating yourselves right here on the edge of Ferguson in a state divided where slashing opportunity seems to be the trend. I'm proud to be here and honored to claim 30 years of belief in the potential of human beings. And I firmly believe that the opportunity to learn could save us all. So thank you.
I have hope when I see the interns doing what they do. I have hope when I see the response to them. I have hope at various points in the public discourse, and then I just get frightened by the polarity, by how literally and figuratively black and white this issue is framed, and to me it's all in the gray.
It will be folks that are the age of these policy interns and are taking on issues across the board like this that will transform America, that will illustrate to us what the best of our ideals and our hopes and our aspirations for what this country would be. It's in their hands. They're the ones who are going to show it to us. The question is whether we're going to turn around and pay attention long enough to bless them, to honor them, and to make it happen in the world.
Racism's systemic. Is it ever ending? From Emmett Till, Castile, you tell me what's the difference? From prisons to educational systems, training us to survive when we deserve to be living. And they wonder what the riot's about. Buildings burn, but we shed enough tears to put them fires out. This ways, they in the streets. Hear them yelling, no justice, no peace. It's so apparent the issue is not a black or white, it's an American issue. More.